Welcome back to the cabin. This is my first time up here this year. It's the end of April 2022. All the snow's gone. First thing I gotta do is get the batteries online with the sun. I want to check and see what the voltage is first. And then I need to hook up the pipes that I disconnected last December, and then pump some water into the tanks from the well. Gonna try and get all that done in a couple hours. So the batteries measure 12.38 volts. So now I'll turn on the circuit breakers and see if I can charge them a bit on this overcast day. Alright, I got the circuit breakers turned on. This one's the battery, this is the solar panels, and this is the 12 volt feed into the cabin. So the green light on the left is the solar panel. The green light in the middle is the battery. So I still have a green on the solar panel, which means we're bringing in power, even it's late in the afternoon on a cloudy day. So here's my piping down in the cellar. I've got to hook up the inlet line and the discharge line, and right next to the inlet line in the middle of the screen is a strainer, which I remembered to take out last year, so I have to screw that strainer back on. It goes under where that white cap is, and then that'll do it for the hooking up the piping down here, or the hoses, I guess. So I'll hook these up and then we can run some water into the tank. Okay, I got the hose connected to my new water pump. I moved the battery out here, the 12 volt battery. I got the hose running down into the tank in the cellar. So the next step is to open up the well here, put the pump down in there and start pumping. So as you can hear, the water's running, the pump's on. The potable water hose comes through that window temporarily and into the tank. I'm going to put about a cup of bleach in. I'll only put about 30 or 40 gallons in. With the bleach in there, it should sanitize the lines. And then another day of this trip, I'll fill up the rest of the tanks. Alright, that's enough water for today. I got about 50 gallons in there. It's up to the first bar there on the bottom. And now I'll bring in the rest of the stuff from the car, now that I have the important things done. Well, this is the last load of gear. As I showed you last year, I just throw my stuff in a wheelbarrow and wheel it back up to the cabin. Usually making about 5 trips with the wheelbarrow. And then I get all my stuff inside. So this afternoon, I polyurethaned 8 tongue and groove boards. They're 14 footers. This is the first coat. I'll sand them tomorrow and then put a second coat on them, and then they'll be ready to go up. I do 2 coats. Some people use 3, but I can't be bothered. 2 is going to be good enough. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be above 50 degrees when you paint or polyurethane, but it's probably mid 40s down here, so that's close enough. So this is where I left on the west wall last year, installing the tongue and groove pine. I have to reposition those 2 speakers and then I can get about 5 tongue and groove boards installed. When I get near the top, I'm going to have to draw a circle the diameter of those speakers, and I think I'm going to do it between 2 boards. So the bottom half of the circle will be on one board, and the top half of the circle for the speaker will be on the top board. And then install those boards, run the wire, and put the speakers in. And that should do it for the first floor on that wall. So I cut and nailed up about 4 boards yesterday, and the next 2 is going to be where my speakers are going to live. So I've got those here on the ground, and I've cut in the bottom board a semicircle already, and now I have to cut the same semicircle in the other board so that the speaker can fit in there to the hole. And I wanted to do it here on the floor in case I don't cut off enough here. I don't want to have to take the board down again, so I'll fit check them here on the floor and then nail everything up. I screwed up a little bit this morning when I was cutting the boards to length. I don't know if you can see it here, but the saw blade put a notch in the end, but because that's in the end, when I put it up and put the other piece of the corner over it, you're not going to be able to see it. I'll know it's there, but nobody else will except you guys. Alright, so get my jigsaw out and finish cutting those semicircles. Alright, time for the fit check. Fits good. Got the boards snug together, just like they'll be up on the wall. Try the other end. Fits good too. Alright. Now we can nail those boards up on the wall. Getting this last board up by myself is presenting a challenge, because when I put it up there, I have to walk both ends into the tongues, the grooves into the tongues, and there's not enough room up there for me to use my clothespin that's sitting on top of the step ladder there. There's not enough room for me to get the clothespin in to hold the board on one end so I can work the other end in. So what I decided to do is tie the board up with string on each end. Then I'll bring each end up, tie it in place so it doesn't fall. Then I can massage the tongues and grooves together. So I'll see if this approach works. Alright, so my string idea worked. I was able to get the last board up there, and everything's lined up. And the speakers fit. Speakers fit quite nicely. So we're going to call this a success. Just have to run the wires, speaker wires, and then we'll be done. And then there's like a 4-inch piece that I have to rip and put in there to get to the ceiling. But yeah, happy with how this went. Now I gotta buy more tongue and grooves, find out what the price is, and start the staining process again so I can do that wall over there. Next task is to cut down some of this brush, vines, small scrub trees that sprout up every year down in front of the cabin. So it's been dry out, so I think I can get rid of most of these, cut them back at least. Well, this is my second tank of gas in the weed whacker, and that's going to be good for this trip. A lot of that stuff that's standing up is actually cut. It just has to fall down. The briars grab each other and hold themselves up. But I got a lot of this cleaned out. I'm trying to remember last year. I know I didn't do anything in the fall, kind of get away from me. But I can't remember last spring if I cut this stuff down. Well, the weather finally warmed up today. It's about 65 degrees. It's a lot better than the 40s we were having. Decided to pump the rest of the water into the storage tanks. That'll get me up to 500 gallons in the basement. So I think I mentioned this in another video, but I don't like to leave the well unattended because squirrels and chipmunks could fall down it, which happened to me I think 3 years ago. It was a chipmunk that fell into the well and drowned, and luckily I had pumped all the water I needed, so I fished him out with a shovel and poured a bunch of chlorine bleach down into the well. And that happened in the fall of that year, so I didn't have to use any of that water until the next spring. So I figured by then it was cleaned. And this is not drinking water anyway. This is water for the toilet and the sinks. So we'll see how long it takes to fill up these tanks with this new pump. It's a new 12-volt pump, and I forget what the capacity is, but the other one was like really slow. It took me, I think, 3 hours to fill up the tanks. I'm guessing it's going to take an hour and a half or less to fill up the 2 tanks with this new pump. We shall see. Keep an eye on it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this trip. Got that wall done, which is great. Temperature finally warmed up a bit. So we're open for business in 2022. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be safe out there. See you next time. It's sunny today, but real windy. Hopefully you can hear the wind in the trees. It's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit today. But with the wind chill, it's going to be like a 20-mile-an-hour wind. Feels like early March instead of late April.